Let's hear it, dude.
Okay. All right. So this is called Young St. Petersburg. Stuck in an iron-wrought thought stockade, bare toes burn in the icy heat of Florida's central air. The fungus among us won't stop giving pain pangs with each step. Taken down the avenue, fourth north-sided Russian-American metropolis recreation station community, founded in the silent room of the local library locomotive computer lab. 15 cents per copy, page printers, screens overrun by subjectives and another. Facebook page, Twitter session, YouTubers' favorite cotton candy arcade games included in the package price payment plan. Plenty enough chicken breaded box cutters in my hair down there, homie, believe that. I signed a contract, you all agreement. I'm the best client on file, worthwhile. All the banks agree, check me. I have a suit in the limousine and a blood red display sprayer of truth coming into your neighborhood on Thursday afternoon. Should we consult the fuzz before we count down to eternity? Might need a permit for that bonfire before we inspire flight of the commoners, centipede, leech sloth, street sign, motherfuckers on the fucking corner, peddling common wares, uncouth to the youth, imminent proof of something underground. Like outer space, I'm so high in this bitch. Can you find me, Waldo? I orbit this place. Check your telescope. 6 parsecs to the left of the cesspool of galaxies in the gardens that Edens forsake to make a cake in the bake on the 1000th lake. Sales for the fiscal year. Can't you see that the corporation in the previous PowerPoint presentation doesn't have the proper demographics for such a socialist outsource code to the Continuum sister company? Cacophanizing amongst themselves about some fat clothes that skyscrapers down blocks wear to the Centennial Cultural Dominance Gala held in Gotham, archetypically a city of dopes, gluttons, fiends, hookers, johns, launderers, smugglers, and Macs, contemporary Sodom and Gomorrah. As though a journey forward through time would yield different conclusions? Rewind, reset, replay, recreate, reformulate, change minds, alter perception, tie someone's shoes, make ham sandwiches, no lettuce please. Read poetry to your grandfather on his life bed. Rip my cord from your socket, twisting turbine in rocket, ancient daguerreotype in the left side antique locket. Hark there, spare spoken sprocket, aren't you glad you dropped your pocket? Dude, I'm gonna keep going. I got a couple more, dude.
It's fucking awesome,
I got a couple
man.
more. Thank you for
That is
fucking
killer.
listening, dude. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
so good. Wow.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. All right,
Wow,
I'm
please
sending it.
keep
I'm sending
going,
it.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
word. All right, so this is fucking. I don't really do this one by memory usually, but I think I got it. So this is called "Caresses of My Soul." An intoxicating love, as pure as black diamonds sifted through Saharan Nile river sand in a Swahili dialect. Distances body from terrestrial associations terrible in nature. Passions pouring torrentially over my back from Neptune's sharpened and pointed trident. Moisten my melancholy with secret voicemail messages that occasionally congeal and harden, like weeks-old food left on dishes in the reconstructed kitchen. Mistakes made to be regretted, thus apologies flow constantly through the wiring of our palatial estate. The electrician stubbed his toe on the fountain of youth in the foyer. His job done, mission improbable. The green of her eyes takes over my senses, engulfs my objective, envelops my subjective, assuages my apathy with empathy in the azure pasture, populated with poppies and pumpkin pies, penetrating my skin with acupuncture wounds of past lives' nostalgic pressure points. I was briefly poisoned, but recovered in the madhouse of time, space, and snuggles of these 2 sexy aliens in a bed of down feathers and pine boughs, laid for them on nimbus clouds by wanton, wandering witnesses, barefooted, naked-bodied, brown eyes in their holes in the skies. Answers asked and questions told to those seeking an absolute aberration, placed on this society by our asshole forefathers in an attempt to pillage and lay siege to the world from the top of the death ladder in America's deep political tomb, who actually incurred debt through an advanced precognitive peyote vision of the preconceived capitalist machine by a shaman in a dark torrent of August rain, and that shaman's eyes bled for 7 winter moons, long and shadowy to him with no music to taste, and no eyes to hear the crops groan and die, and no tongue to smell the decay of the middle class, and no nose to touch the polluted and pampered food industry. Ah, finally, his sentence is up, but he's out of time, running to the future to warn them about the ghosts of our past. Too late awakened to the awareness of our species' gluttony, because it's all been corrupted, you see. Still, however, still missing his mother and his grandfather, who recently passed through the peaceful plain, a powerful presence to us all, in his absence left a void of pleasant and passionate moving pictures in high definition on a 60-inch plasma screen. Joy to the immeasurable acts of love and kindness he presented to himself and the universe. Still, however, regressing in genetic structure, still entering the exalted emporium of the entities, still experiencing an ever-growing love of the curvaceous green-eyed angel whom in her excellence came upon the apprenticed thinker in a daze and cleansed his clouded mind and soul, still struggling to straddle the stresses of existence in a dripping clock of purple lavender crystals, still making poetry in the vibrations around I and you, losing the rest of the vowels in good service on the abandoned railroad tracks, still saying goodnight to the bloody red flashing ambulance floodlight sunlight of summer dawns, still popping the cherries of those unenlightened minds stuck in the recooked soup of America's melted pot. still smoking out the top of the jailhouse's barbiturated automated security system guard, still rolling and rocking on the streets to resounding bassline beats that drop to the deepest catacombs of the Vatican and explode Pandora's box of religion's best-kept falsehoods, releasing stationary freestyle bars spit to exonerate the unknown knowns whispered loudly through the Baroque period of musical class. Ludwig stole her. She heard a sonata by the moonlight in Ludwig's courtyard by the brass section skyline fence. Jerry stole her face with a magical wave of his conductor's wand, which left her wallowing in the weeping willow tree on Shakedown Street, and was thus saved by a spinster with a splash of confidence and a plenum of universal connections. Thank you, yo.
Dude, that
Thank
is
you.
fucking
I'm
amazing.
gonna fucking do another one if you don't mind. I got
yeah,
one more.
please do,
I
man.
got one more, I
Yeah,
think.
Give me one more. That'd be
Fucking-
great.
I'm really glad that I came over to talk to you, dude.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, yeah, fucking. Alright, word. So, this one is short. This is
I'm
actually.
Don't mind me, I'm gonna spray for
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
Bastards should die.
Do what you gotta do, brother. This is kind of silly. This is one of the first poems I ever wrote, like, in this style. It's called White Rabbit, I think. I don't know.
White Rabbit?
Yeah,
Alright,
it's fucking, yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Help. I call for aid. An ailment suffers me. Knowledge infects. Virally infiltrating my mind's peace. Holistically shifting, ever intrinsically rifting, ordinary habitational brain state. Percolate the congenital mandate, then wait. Timelessness shall maturate, predictable brainwave rate. Formulate and mate, theory with reason. Commit to educate your mouth. Commit to feed your head. Matriculate. Empathetically contemplate the current condition of your fellow Homo sapiens sapien primate. Humanity, perceivably entangled in idolatry of material, inherently mangled by societal machine, advancing perpetually, integrally gaining influence over its own operations, superficially controlling the flow of informationality, superfluously pumping something I can't remember, but overcome avarice, seek aesthetically pure experience to intimately know truth, exist astrally, psycho-navigate this plane, let the wisdom penetrate, beseech true knowledge, don't procrastinate. And I'm going to send you one more. Fucking, it's not mine. It's Allen Ginsberg's. It's his magnum opus, Howl. I'm going to do as much as I can off the top of my head for you before I bounce my boy.
Sweet.
Okay, so, Howl for Carl Sullivan. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn looking for an angry fix. Angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo in the machinery of night, who poverty and tatters and hollow-eyed and high set up smoking in the supernatural darkness of cold water flats, floating across the tops of cities contemplating jazz, who bared their brains to heaven under the L and saw Mohammedan angels staggering on tenement roofs, illuminated, who passed through universities with radiant cool eyes, hallucinating Arkansas and Blake Light tragedy among the scours of war, who were expelled from the academies for crazy and publishing obscene odes on the windows of the skull, who cowered in unshaven rooms in underwear, burning their money in wastebaskets and listening to the terror through the wall, who got busted in their pubic beards returning through Laredo with a belt of marijuana for New York, who ate fire in paint hotels or drank turpentine in Paradise Alley, death, or purgatoried their torsos night after night, with dreams, with drugs, with waking nightmares, alcohol and cock and endless balls, incomparable shuddering of the mind, leaping toward poles of Canada and Patterson, illuminating all the motionless world of time between peyote solidities of halls, backyard, green trees, cemetery dawns, wine drunkenness over the rooftops, storefront burrows of tea-head joyride, neon blinking traffic lights, sun and moon.